お帰りなさいませ。
So this episode left a lot of questions, and I think more questions in the sense of the plot, less questions in the sense of what's going on right now. Hopefully you like the new intro. Of course, we had Frederica letting you guys know welcome, right? That makes a lot of sense. But let me get my timer out so we can make sure that we stay on time with this one. However, because there are some parts in this I think my brain wants to focus a little bit more on, I might extend it. I feel like this is going to be the thing that happens here. At least I don't have to edit, right? So we see the first man married to an AI, right? We see this guy, or I guess I kind of spoiled that. He's the first man married to an AI. Oh, you shouldn't be watching this episode anyways. I mean, you should have already watched this episode anyways, right? So yeah, he's married to a robot. Here we go. And he made a promise in an anime like this. So you can already know this is going to go poorly. That's as simple as this gets, right? We now see Vivy with, I think, a unique intro. I think the start of the intro was a little different, or I just was not paying as much attention to the very beginning of it from the last episode. But it's really nice to see that the intro kind of plays into the fact that she's a singer. Like, I think we had a little bit of it before, I believe, in the second episode as well. But I just really like how far they're taking that. Like, yes, she would be singing the opening. This was an anime about a singing robot. Now it's not anymore. Now it's what she'll do to keep being able to sing in order to fulfill the purpose of seeing people's smiles because of her singing, right? So after that, we go back to her regular day-to-day, I guess, kind of living at home, where she is checking for a virus just to make sure Matsumoto doesn't show up. I figured out the name today. And it turns out he did, right at the moment she was looking. 5 years later, we see rapid AI growth again. So clearly, what he is saying is not lining up to how this is going on. But Vivy seems a lot more compliant now that she's getting an audience, which I thought was interesting. Vivy not only is getting an audience, which seems to be swaying her a bit more, but she's also getting to honor the people who have now died in her path or have seeing them fulfill their purpose, like Estella. So, Vivy's ready. They go on to their next step. We are now in a car chase scene, and it's basically the Black Panther movie. She hops on one car, pushes that car in by denting it in, hops on another car, then hops into the car she needs to be in, where she's now given information about this island that is being made outside of, I guess, you could just say the coast. Like, I don't know what the continent is. The coast, right? And it's 20 years ahead in all of its technology. It's a giant, like, metal island. So, again, we have a boost in AI right now, not anything less. We also hear that Estella is now being praised as a selfless AI, like she is now seen in a very glorious light versus the way she was going to be seen as a killer of humanity. And as this episode goes on, my brain is left to wonder how truthful Matsumoto's words are. Because you have to ask this question, right? If we have these kind of tragedies, why would AI get any stronger? Like, I feel like this is obviously the obvious thing you're supposed to be thinking about, right? Why would AI get any stronger, or we would need more AI or feel like we should make more AI if we see that they're nothing but dysfunctional? So obviously he's trying to get us to make more AI. That's 100% where I'm going with this, and I'm going to stick to it, right? So, also, after that's over, the doctor talks about the island. Diva snitches kind of their plan, which Matsumoto tells her not to. Not only that, afterwards, Diva is now, even in these missions, a little bit more of her own person. So she says the thing to him specifically after told not to. Then she gives a little bit more information. Then she asks what he's doing. She's now taking control in some instances when they're on missions versus just completely listening to what Matsumoto says. Also, she hasn't been forced to in a minute, so that's also another thing. We haven't got him being like, oh, next time we have a deal, Diva. You know, one of those situations all over again. We also see his wife now, Grace, who we saw in the other future, but now they are living in a very fancy home. He seems to be a doctor. He shows us the virus, literal virus, because it's shaped in an actual virus that he's going to use for the island to take it down, it seems, right? We also get to see that, or we also later on hear that Grace is one of the sisters. So I'm guessing one of Vivy's sisters, which I find very interesting that we keep coming back to these periods and times, as Vivy's pointed out, with all the sisters. And it's making me question, because I would say Matsumoto brings up the fact that Grace is most likely going to die as well if we take out this island. It's going to have effects on AIs from I'm guessing a good distance. I'm guessing it to be something like almost like an EMP, right? Or it's just going to affect the way that they work or operate. But it seems like we are taking out all of Diva's sisters, and it's making me wonder why. Are we trying to get to a point where Diva is the only one out of her sisters in existence, or at least the only important one? Estella has now been made a martyr. This sister is the first one, as I snitched way earlier like I shouldn't have, to marry a human. This is a very important step in history, again, as we showed earlier, that their relationship sparked a bunch of people getting into AI relationships. I was also when I saw that, I was like, there's no way that there's only going to be one man who goes, I want my waifu bot. There's no way every dude would be out here trying to, so terrible, trying to do create a waifu. Oh, I used to love watching High School DxD. I'm going to make Reset. Like, it get really creepy really fast. So it's just making me wonder, right? Why are we taking out all these sisters? We're clearly going to take out another sister. She's most likely going to die at the end of this, okay? So instead, Estella and Matsumoto go to the island. They tell the doctor that he needs to stay, that he's going to hold them back. And we're introduced to this island of, I think, King of Anime Podcast, C-Tastics, Satsuki, or EA said, the Wall-E Island. And, they're kind of like Wall-E robots, right? But for me, it made it sad for me because they seem so nice. I called the island the Halo Island because it reminded me of Halo, right? But when we get to the island, they're all welcoming. They have plans for if humans get here. They're building new cities and everything. Everything is super advanced. Kind of reminded me of the end of Marvel Ultimate 2. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 when Nick Fury gets the nanobots. I was like, oh man, but not evil and not trying to kill me too. I was like, man, I feel sad for him. He was making art for children, and they had a song ready. It was like this whole loving and peaceful thing. And then we get alerted that the task force, I believe the same one from the last time, shows up to try and blow up the island. They were originally going after the doctor for the virus themselves. I'm sure to either use it themselves or for some greater plan later, but because they couldn't get it and because Vivy got in the way, they decided, oh, screw it, we're just going to go straight to the island. I don't know how that was a smarter decision because this is a giant supercomputer-run island. As we can tell, there is a central computer that I think they keep calling Mother, specifically. And as the alarms go off, Vivy puts the virus into, I'm going to say his name, too, because I wrote it down because they made me so sad killing him. M205. M205, you were my favorite, man. He had little trinkets he was making for the kids, and when you look inside of his AI dream, it almost feels like their purpose, right, allows them to have more sentience than they would have, because it seems like they're allowed to ponder on their goal, which gives them a form of sentience. If you think of us in a way, right, we have a primary purpose. Our purposes are to eat, drink, reproduce. It's basically as simple as it gets, right? Take care of yourself so you don't die, bring on more of our own species. But we're allowed to ponder on how we get these things. We're allowed to think further on what steps we should take, what's wrong to do in order to get these items. We still have the goal. You must complete your goal or you die, right? But for them, in this sense, it's not like they would die. They just wouldn't be functional, if that makes any sense. It almost feels like they're, at least some of them, I know other ones like Estella, I'm pretty sure they were basically AI, right? But with these more simplistic robots, and I think they called him Analog, he was on the verge or closer to sentience. And it just made me so sad to watch that be taken away, to watch his one little dream be smoked away by the virus and then kind of taken over. And so he and some of the other robots like himself are shipped out by the mother computer as the alarm goes off, and they go sliding out just straight to the ocean, dive bombing into just straight into ships. Not dive bombing. They go into the water, which I'm surprised they could swim or at least stay afloat, and then swim straight towards the boats, blowing them up. Drones are going into helicopters, and I just kept on going man, she's killing so many of her own AI. I know they're not alive, but Jesus. And then Vivy hops into the water and ends up saving the same guy. So I'm also starting to think that whatever's supposed to happen at the end of this man's going to have a deciding factor. So the question is now, what is the ultimate goal of this? There's so much stupid speculating I can do that makes absolute no sense, right? So let's say they keep that guy they keep him alive long enough, right? And AI gets to a super place where they're praised to the top of their existence now. Everybody loves the AI. In fact, we're saving and worshiping the AI at this point. And then we keep him alive long enough where he can finally kill them in a sense of glory. Like, I don't know what else we're going with this man. He usually has a grudge. We'll see again in the next episode if he's going to be mad that Vivy saved him for the third, I guess second time her sister saved him the other time. We'll see how this works, all right? It's just there's so many things. I already brought up the sisters, right? The sisters keep getting killed. This will be if Grace dies. This is 3 sisters, and I swear if this is something like Grace in their world died, like the term Grace, not like the name Grace, right? I swear, Tappei, this is some sort of long, huge allegory for the way that we've killed our own grace of humanity. Something's dumb, right? I'm going to be mad, though I'm enjoying the writing right now. I'm just really interested to see where this goes. As you can see, my brain is speculating a lot. I'm not even doing like really deep analysis. Like I haven't been going over like, let's go over all the intro. This is just my raw reactions to the stuff. Hopefully you enjoy it. Let me know what you think. Please don't spoil everything. Don't be that guy. And if you're informing me about stuff in the light novel, just be very careful about what you say. I don't think this show had a light novel, but somebody did that with 86, and he was fine, by the way. If you're watching this right now, that was completely fine. I'm just letting people know now because I think I should give the disclaimer, so thank you. I might talk about Arc 5. I'm debating talking about some ecchi shows and then making that like really fancy because I made the intro really fancy. We might go over the analysis of the jiggle or something really stupid, right? But let me know what you guys think. I'll catch you all later. Lightning Brigade, or I guess Baka Brigade. It's kind of weird. See ya.